Hello and welcome to another edition of Mailbag. What is Mailbag? Well, Mailbag is a feature of the channel where you guys leave lots of comments on the channel and I attempt to answer those comments, or if I can't answer those comments, I throw it out to you guys who have more knowledge on some of this stuff than I do. So let's get into the first mailbag of this session. Remember, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Go over to Instagram and follow me there. Go over to Facebook, follow me there. That's where the normal notices are. And consider becoming a Patreon. Next question comes from Sergio Fonseca Noves. I've probably got your name wrong and I apologise for that. Everybody knows I'm the worst pronunciation person of people's names. I cannot pronounce people's names. I get them wrong. I'm working with a guy at the moment who I've been calling the wrong name for probably about the last 3 months, and he only pointed it out to me on Friday. I think he was kind of embarrassed. Anyway, this one's in response to how to reset the direct jump menu on the Roland D-70 following a factory reset. Video I did, it was that, a video I did in April 2021. I've had a series of comments about this on a previous mailbag, and I hadn't written down when the date was. Anyway, a bit by the by really. Thank you. I changed the battery and it went wrong. I can't find the card anywhere, and I'm hoping that that's correct because I had to translate that from Portuguese. The thing about video 3 is, as I've said before on the Roland D-70, I did 3 videos. Okay, video 1, I talked about the settings and I did a backup from the D-70 to a Sysex file. Video 2 was I restored the D-70 from a Sysex file, and video 3 was just kind of clearing up after you finished. And what I recommend is that you at least watch video 1, because video 1 talks through all the computer settings in terms of how I set my version of MediaX up to do the backup and restore. So the key point of this is, as I said, you've got to need to watch at least video 1, video 2 if you're trying to do a restore, and I say video 3 is kind of the mop up. And another tuber has recently obtained Sysex files. Follow the instructions to reset it back to factory, and then told me that it didn't work. And what actually turns out to be was the Sysex file was corrupt. The Sysex file they obtained from wherever they obtained it from was not a genuine Sysex file for the Roland D-70, or it wouldn't load on the Roland D-70. But when he used my Sysex file that I supplied him with, all of a sudden everything jumped back to space. So don't believe that it's your setup that's causing you a problem. It could actually be the fact that your setup is absolutely correct, but the Sysex file you're trying to load is banjexed. So now the other thing about it is lots of people keep asking me about the Roland D-70 card that I have. In actual fact, no, I haven't. I've put it away. Funny enough, it was sitting on the bench there the other day, and I was going to just do that. Now, I'll say this again. The card that I have was a card that was sent through. Well, sorry. Let me backtrack a bit. When I bought the D-70 years ago, I didn't have that card. When I split with my ex, and I saw somebody mention a card in a video, but they didn't show the actual factory reset card, and then I found the card on eBay and I bought it, and that card has the factory set on it and it works every single time. It's probably got some sort of EEPROM in it that just needs to be reburnt. Anyway, that card works every single time, and I use that all the time on the D-70. It's far faster. It literally takes seconds. So rather than having to get the computer out and set the computer up and all the MIDI and set up the Sysex and all that sort of stuff, put the card in, boom, done. And for those of you who don't have cards for your synthesizers, I highly recommend that you go and see if you can find the relevant card for the synthesizer, because it's so much easier to reload the factory sounds from a card than it is from any other medium. It really is. Anyway, so I got that off eBay, and at the time I bought my card, the individual was selling quite a few of them. He had, you know, 1 of 10 or something like that. But I have to be honest and say, I have not seen a Roland D-70 factory restore card on any of the sort of major portals for a good few years. So if you are trying to do this, there's a couple of choices you can make. And I have done this. I did this recently with Richard, who is a friend of mine who lives just up the coast, who got a D-70, and his D-70 was effectively banjaxed. But you can cut the Sysex or the factory settings to a Roland E256 card, and then you can use that to restore, because that's exactly what I did with Richard. As I lent him a E256 card with factory settings on it, and he was able to, when he was working on his keyboard and had to keep taking the battery in and out, able to reset it to factory sounds every single time using the E256 card. So you can do that. The problem is the E256 card is not cheap, because they don't make them anymore. There is a company that is knocking out clones, and for the life of me I can't remember who they are now, but if you go and look for buy E256 E5112 cards, there is a company that is making clones of them, so you can get a new clone of the original, but the originals are becoming harder and harder to get hold of. I've got about I think I've got about 5 or 6 of them now, but each one of them is now sort of kind of in the £70 to £90 range, and some of them are distinctly grubby by the time you get them, so they need to be sanitized and cleaned. But you've got to be really careful with them, of course, because you know the printing is just screen printed, and if you go too hard you end up rubbing all the printing out. Anyway, so for the D-70, if you need to use Sysex, I will put a link below here to video 1, 2 and 3, so you can watch those if you want, feel free. That will tell you how to set up your environment, or if I can remember and can find it, I will also put a link to the company that's selling the clones, and you can go and do it that way. If you want me to put the system settings onto a card for you, then DM me separately, because I will make a small charge for that. So I make no apologies for that. It's my time, and I do all this for free, but somewhere down the line somebody has to fund bits of the channel. Anyway, catch you later. Bye bye.